is crucial for the success of society. So, you know, the United Nations is always studying how to make the world a better place. We're doing it for dozens of years. And in the mid-90s, they came to this conclusion, that the only way that the world will be sustainable is with families. So parents, my advice to you, love and accept your children like God has loved and accepted you. Don't make your children into an ornament. Don't live your life and don't raise your children so that they try to do everything you couldn't do, that they become everything you weren't, or that you can live your life through them and make up for all your failures and regrets. That's an ornament. Your job is not to make your children into what you want them to be. Your job is to guide your children to become what God wants them to be. If you're doing anything but that, there will be lots of friction, there'll be lots of pain. You and God are gonna, it's not you and your child, it's you and God fighting it out. It's gonna hurt. I want to talk to you about Abraham. Abraham's the 10th generation descendant of Noah, of Noah's son Shem. He was born and raised in a city called Ur. Ur is the capital of Chaldea. Back then, it was the largest city in the world. It had a population of 65,000 people. It was right beside the Euphrates River. It was a very strategic location. It was a trade city. It was like a cosmopolitan city. It had a very strong economy. It had huge technological advances. Historians say that this city back then, the homes were 2 stories. The homes had 12 to 14 rooms with plaster on the walls, way back then. And they even found homes with indoor plumbing. Hard to believe that it was so advanced. Abraham had generation after generation in this city. They were very comfortable. When he turned 75 years old, he had lived there for 75 years, he heard the voice of the Lord. The Lord had said to Abram, "Leave your country, your people, and your father's household, and go to the land I will show you. I will make you into a great nation, and I will bless you. I will make your name great, and you will be a blessing. I will bless those who bless you, and whoever curses you, I will curse. And all peoples on earth will be blessed through you." So Abram left, as the Lord had told him. Genesis 12, 1-4. The key part in this verse that really stands out to me is where God says, "I will bless you so you can bless others." And if you look at Abraham's life, he raised his family to be a blessing for others. He really had a genuine concern about his descendants and whether his descendants would bless this world. You know that Abraham's life was an inspiration for generation after generation after generation. If you look at the New Testament, all the way to the point of Peter is talking about Abraham in the same sentence that he's talking about Christ and saying it was a fulfillment of the promise given way back then. But there was a condition. There was a condition for this blessing. What was it? Go. Obedience. You have to leave this country, this advanced country, this great economy, this comfortable place, this best place in the world. Leave it. You have to leave your family. You have to leave generation of families before you and go to this land I will show you, in the middle of nowhere. And you know Abraham became a tent dweller. Obedience. What does the Bible say about obedience? 1 Samuel 15:22. But Samuel replied, "What is more pleasing to the Lord, your burnt offerings and sacrifices, or your obedience to his voice? Listen, obedience is better than sacrifice, and submission is better than offering the fat of rams. Now, we live our lives, a lot of us, including myself at times, especially in this country, living like, oh, I'm going to go and get a good job, I'm going to make money, and I'm going to give it to the church, or I'm going to give it to missions, or I'm going to sacrifice my time and, go to church and read the Bible, and we're just so tied up in doing that, and we think that's why we're here. And then this verse comes out and says, obedience means way more to me than sacrifice. Then what happened to Abraham? He has a son, Isaac, and you guys all know the story of Isaac and how it was like an answer to so much prayer. When Isaac was 15 years old, who's 15 here? 15-year-olds, put your hand up. All 15-year-olds, okay. Any 15-year-old boys? All right. All right. So, then God said, take your son, your only son, whom you love, Isaac, and go to the region of Moriah. Sacrifice him there as a burnt offering on a mountain I will show you. Early the next morning, Abraham got up and loaded his donkey. He took with him 2 of his servants and his son Isaac. When he had cut enough wood for the burnt offering, he set out for the place God had told him about. Early the next morning, no hesitation, no putting out a sponge, see if it rains and dries, and no tests, no confirmations, no fasting and prayer. Early the next morning. It was a 3-day journey. He had to travel for 3 days with his 15-year-old son. And his son asked him, where's the lamb? At that point, Abraham's heart tore in half, and he had to say, God will provide. And he got to the mountain, he set up the wood, he tied his son's feet and his hands, and he lifted him up and put him on the altar. And if you read about how the priests sacrificed animals back then, you would know that when you are doing a sacrifice to God, there's a certain way you need to cut the animal. And the important thing is, you need to start right above the breastplate, and you need to go straight down so that he opens up completely, so that when they light the fire, that the meat actually, sends off the smell to heaven. So if you can imagine your son, your 15-year-old son, lying on there and your hand looking for this spot, and then your knife going into the air. That's what Abraham had to bear. And then the angel of the Lord called to Abraham from heaven. This is what the Lord says. Because you have obeyed me and have not withheld even your son, your only son, I swear by my own name that I will certainly bless you. I will multiply your descendants beyond number, like the stars in the sky and the sand of the seashore. Your descendants will conquer the cities of their enemies, and through your descendants, all the nations of the earth will be blessed. All because you have obeyed me. What's amazing is when Abraham was first given this promise in the city of Ur, Abraham had no children, and the population of the earth, the total population of the earth was around 5 million people. That was the situation when God made the promise. Now you forward to 2011. Today, Christians, Jews, and Muslims all call Abraham their father. Today, 3.6 billion people call Abraham their father. You know what that means? If Abraham showed up today on planet Earth, 3.6 billion people would drop whatever they are doing, and whether it's by air, by foot, by ship, they will find a way to get to Abraham. It came true, right? It came true at a level that not even Abraham could imagine. His descendants will number the stars. And he's left an incredible legacy. And to this day, like yesterday I was at a Jewish neighbor's house for dinner, and I could actually, he's saying, what are you going to talk about tomorrow? And I could actually share this, because we have it in common, Abraham. And he totally understood. What an amazing legacy. Now you mothers. And I know mothers, I've got one, and I've got a wife, and you guys work so hard to do so much. Everything has to be perfect. You want your kids, you invest so much time in them, into the house, into doing everything, and anything that's not being done, you'll pick up and do it. You won't let anything just sit there. To this day, even like last night, Betsy was like, can you do this? I'll go, I'll do it in a second. She'll go, fine, I'll do it myself. It hasn't even been a second. I'll do it, I heard you. But no, she has to do it right then. Nothing can be left undone. Here's what Paul said to Timothy as he was writing him a letter. Clearly recalling your sincere faith that first lived in your grandmother Lois, then in your mother Eunice, and that, I am convinced, is in you also. And mothers, I'm telling you, all those things you do, they're all for naught. They're all worth nothing. If I cannot one day walk up to your grandson and say, the faith that started in your grandmother and then was in your daughter, I know is in you. If I can't say that, I don't care how many soccer games, swimming lessons, A+s, nice chubby kid, it's for naught. It's for naught. And like Abraham, and like Timothy's grandmother, it wasn't what they did for their kids, it was the example they lived that their kids followed. Now you're thinking, okay, well my parents, I have lukewarm parents. They're not like no Abraham. They're like no Lois. My parents might not even be Christians. My parents seem to just want to relax and enjoy America. And you're sitting there going, I have no heritage. Well, I want to challenge you, because God is calling you then. He is calling you to start something for your family. See, Abraham's parents were idol worshippers. Abraham's dad, his career was selling idols. That's what he did. He was a merchant of idols. So why did God call him? You know, God chose him. There's no heritage there to call Abraham. And if you have been coming to ACA for the last 12 months, you know we have been challenged beyond belief. I got a call last Sunday from an uncle saying, Bobby, I can't take it anymore. I can't take it. These messages, every message, every guest speaker, everyone who comes is just challenging, different ages, different backgrounds, different ways of saying it. I'm going to explode. I can't sit here and listen to another one. It's just tearing my heart in half. That's what you're being challenged. You are being challenged. I'm telling you, you are being challenged. You are being challenged to leave your country. You are being challenged to leave your father's family. You are being challenged to leave your children at the altar. You are even being challenged to leave ACA. Every language you heard up here is because someone obeyed God and stepped out. Someone discipled in ACA stepped out and said, I am going to obey, and reached out to another people group. And a lot of us are like, I'll do anything as long as I can still get here Sunday morning. Doesn't work like that. Doesn't work like that. You are being challenged just like Abraham, and our confirmation is the last 12 months. In Jeremiah 29:11 it says, For I know the plans I have for you, declares the Lord. Plans to prosper you and not to harm you. Plans to give you a hope and a future. That plan is not just for your immediate family that you're seeing now. It's supposed to last for generations. I'm asking you, how many generations before they forget your name? Your grandkids will probably know you. Will your great-grandkids have a single story to share? Will your great-great-grandkids even know your name? If you obey God, they will. If you obey God, you will be the patriarch that generation after generation will follow your example. It's so much bigger than you think. I felt like God is telling me, tell these people that my plans for you are bigger than you think. Even if Abraham thought the whole world would call him dad, call him father, back then, that was only 5 million people. Even if he thought that big, it wasn't big enough. That was only 5 million people, 3.6 billion. That's just living now. We're going to have to wait in a long line to shake his hand in eternity. A long line. And there's only one person. You know the Bible says no one can take away the plans God has for you, right? But there's one person who can. Who is that?
You.
You. You can change God's plans for you. You can change them. You can ruin them. You can. Because you have free will. See, who should be the father of all nations? Who should we all be calling father? Like, who's the first father? Adam. Adam. It makes sense, right? Adam. Have you ever heard anyone write a song called Father Adam? Do we talk a lot about Adam? You hear tons of sermons about Adam? The only saying I know is I don't know him from Adam, which means I don't know Adam. What's the difference between Adam and Abraham? Adam disobeyed, Abraham obeyed. So God took what was supposed to be Adam's and took it and gave it to the son of an idol worshiper. And it makes no sense. Why is Abraham the father? Should be Adam. But look what God was able to do. He took it. And so I'm asking you, brothers and sisters, you're sitting there and thinking, it can't be me. My dad just sells idols. Or I came from this background. It can't be me. It should be so-and-so, who's like the equivalent of Adam today. It shouldn't be me. It's not true. It could be you. Because God has to search, and it's ridiculous how much he has to search for someone who will obey him. Doesn't matter. You don't have to be the richest. You don't have to be the best looking. You don't have to have famous parents. You don't have to be the smartest. You don't have to be the most successful. Simple formula. You need to be able to hear his voice, and you need to be able to obey. That's the secret of living a significant life. And we spend so much time doing everything else, and we don't spend time trying to tune into his voice. And then we don't spend time to build up our faith to obey without hesitation. Doesn't matter. This is for all ages. It's a combined service, I know. Abraham was 75. 75. If I said, put up your hands if you're under 75, that would be most of you. Abraham heard God's voice at 75 and was asked to do something very difficult. Samuel heard God's voice, I don't know how old he was, very young age, and he had dedicated his life to the Lord. So it doesn't matter if you're young, doesn't matter if you're old. You should still be listening, you should still be ready to obey. You may still be asked to leave your lands. You may still be asked at 75 to leave your country. So to conclude, parents, your number one responsibility as a Christian parent is to be an example of faith and obedience to your kids. Not number one, that's number one. There's other priorities like put food on the table and take them to soccer and blah, blah, blah. All that's on there. But number one above that, an example of faith and obedience to your kids. Your kids should have stories about you, and God has these stories. You don't have to engineer them. Your kids have stories of you they can pass down for generations. Your goal is not to just create a good family. Oh, my kids did well, they were out of jail, they're not in jail, everybody's happy, everyone talks and gets along, and we have a great Thanksgiving. That's not what it means That's not God's intention of family. God's intention of family is to bless the world through your family. You can be proud of what you've accomplished if your family that you raise is a blessing to this world. Then you have accomplished something. Then you can be proud. Then you've done a good job. So I leave with you these words. Let's get our priorities in the right order. Let's learn to hear the voice of God. And let's learn to obey without hesitation. God bless you.